On the last episode of Dragon Ball Z, after 3 years of training and preparation for the arrival of the evil androids created by Dr. Gero, the day had finally arrived and the Z Warriors prepared themselves for battle. Upon flying to their destination, Gohan, Goku, and Piccolo greeted their friends and were caught by surprise by Bulma, who now carried with her a newborn baby. All were surprised but Goku, that is, whom immediately greeted the child as Trunks and who also blurted out the name of the baby daddy, who was none other than the Prince of all bedrooms, Lord Vegeta. The shock was short-lived though, as the group was greeted by their friend Yajirobe, who brought them some perks straight from Korin's tower in preparation for the upcoming battle. Goku asked his longtime friend Yajirobe if he'd be sticking around for the battle, to which he replied with an emphatic hell no and dipped out in his Capsule Corp Tesla. The journey was short, however, because a short distance away from his comrades, Yajirobe's vehicle was shut down, presumably by the androids who seemed as though they finally made their appearance. With little time to think, Goku orders Gohan to check in on Yajirobe, who had just been shot down, while the rest of them make their way into town to see if they can track down the androids before any more civilian casualties occur. The Z-homies search high and low, and it's Yamcha who ends up drawing the short straw, getting a nice and intimate introduction to the androids, who suck him up and give him the craziest handy of all time before his buddies sense his rapidly fading key signature and make their way over to his location. Goku and company, reeling from the after effects of Yamcha's hand job, are at a loss for words, until Goku speaks up and tells Krillin to get the boy one of them perks and take him to Bulma to heal up, cause right now it's not looking good for this fella. Now I'm gonna be real with y'all, every time I see this part I low-key laugh a little bit, because I picture Krillin trying to feed that man a senzu and it falls out that fresh hole that he's got in his stomach. Like, sir, be for real, this man is not eating anything. Bro out here looking like a fresh donut hole and y'all trying to make him eat a perk so he can get up and fight? And since when did senzu beans recover body parts? Like, this man has a whole ass grown man sized fist through his midsection, and you're telling me that one of them perks just supposed to have that boy regenerating like he's got Logan's healing factor? I remember when senzus used to just make you real full and not want to move for a few hours. I don't know what kind of mischief that boy Korin has been up to in his tower, but I need a bag of them boys ASAP. Korin got that Heisenberg recipe out here. But anyway, Krillin takes his homie Yamcha back to Bulma while Piccolo lets the androids know that they've been expecting them. Goku peeps the fact that they are dead in the middle of the city and tells them that they need to go to a deserted place so they can really start to get to work. Then this man with a Moose Lodge helmet is like, you know what, son Goku, I was just thinking the same thing, and starts shooting Clark Kent heat lasers out of his eyes and smoking the whole city to make sure they don't have any interruptions in the upcoming battle. Goku, realizing that he just wished on the monkey's paw, tries to take the wish back and sprints full speed ahead, booming this man directly in the face. Now y'all know most people that got this treatment from Goku would have been searching for a gallon of milk after being flung through at least 3 skyscrapers. But when I tell you this man ate this hit, I mean this boy really ate that shot for breakfast. Man barely broke stands, and after chowing down on that knuckle sandwich, the elderly android is like, oh my bad, I was just trying to accommodate you since you said you wanted a deserted spot. Goku, upset at the needless loss of life, but also low-key salty that this man really just ate his duff like he smacked him with a pillow, tells him that it's time to skedaddle and to follow him so the real battle can begin. The androids inform Goku that unfortunately, the only ones getting spinned on is about to be him and the rest of the losers he brought with them, but they'll oblige and begin following Goku and the rest of the victims to a more deserted location so they can really start to get busy. Back on the other side of the mountain, Yamcha is now conscious again and explaining to the rest of the crew how and why he got slept within the first minutes of the conflict. Yamcha tells the others that the androids have some weird ability to drain your energy when they have their hands on you, and that it's something that the others have to know about before they start trying to throw hands with the boomer android again. Immediately after hearing this, Gohan begins to take flight, letting them know that he's going to go and give them the heads up before the fight starts and it's too late to do anything. Howie Mandel says that he's going to follow Gohan over as well, because he has the bag of perks and he feels like they're going to need him soon if what happened to Yamcha is any indication. Peeping his friends about to fly away and sensing Bulma losing even more self-respect for him each second he doesn't go, Yamcha decides to fly off too, making it clear that he is not going to be helping with the fight anymore, but he's willing to provide information and emotional support. Bulma then begins looking over at Yajirobe, giving him the stink eye too, until eventually she speaks up and is like, yo big man, you see all your friends out there going to get busy, right? Don't you think that means you should be heading out too? Yajirobe's like, yeah, I know. Bulma claps back, well, what do you mean you know? Earth needs every single hitter it can get right now, so you better get your britches and that butter knife and head into battle before I put this baby down and we settle this right here. And then without even looking her way or changing his tone, bro's like, I can't fly, Bulma. I am not going anywhere right now without some kind of whip. Acknowledging how real that is, Bulma shuts up while our Z homies begin squaring up with the androids in hopes of shutting them down. Everyone drops down to the wasteland floor as a breeze fills the air with the smell of the coming bus ass that's about to commence. Before they begin, Goku states that he has one question, asking the old android how they could possibly know who he and his friends are, remarking on how he knew their names back in the city despite that being their first meeting. While Goku's talking, Ten Shinhan peeps something weird about the way Goku's breathing, briefly wondering if he has asthma or something before brushing the whole thing off and listening to the android's exposition dump. The android states that they are androids 20 and 19 respectively, and they were created by Dr. Gero, a brilliant scientist who survived Son Goku's attack on the Red Ribbon Army base years ago. Piccolo remarks at the way the androids meet Raiden Gero, it almost sounds like he might be Gero himself. The android, refusing to admit that he might have just got caught slipping, continues on, stating that due to Son Goku ruining the Red Ribbon's army's plans for world domination, the intelligent and devilishly handsome doctor spent the rest of his remaining years obsessing over Goku, studying his every move in battle since the World Martial Arts Tournament back in the day. There hasn't been a dump or an intimate moment with Chi-Chi that the Dr. Gero cyber drones haven't been there to peep on. Not knowing whether to be pissed or disgusted, Goku asked 20 one final question, wanting to know if they were watching him while he was on Namek. Android 20 responds that this was not necessary, stating by that point they had all the necessary data needed on him, and calculating probable improvements of a male combatant through this point in time, they are more than enough to handle him at this point, even if he has gotten significantly stronger in the brief time he was on Namek. Goku and Piccolo can't help but crack a smile at the android's cluelessness, recommending that he pay close attention during the next few seconds, because his Super Saiyan transformation might be a bit more than they calculated for. Following this, Goku lets out a brief battle cry as his body expands like the inflatable muscles on that SpongeBob episode. His eyes turn a bright emerald and his hair shines a golden yellow. His transformation into the legendary Super Saiyan now complete. Tien is in absolute awe at the power emanating from Goku following his transformation, truly believing there isn't a force in the known universe that can handle this boy when he's like this. But Piccolo's reaction is surprisingly muted, maybe even slightly concerned as he sees Goku finish ki charging and rush dead ahead to assault the Pillsbury Doughbot standing dead ahead. Shout out to Team 4-Star 2 for those bars about Android 19. That itch had me weak when I first heard it. Goku starts off wasting no time, teleporting behind the android and landing some absolutely nasty shots. Goku's kicking dude in the air, slapping him around with both hands, and on the surface, it would appear that Goku could not be in any more control of the fight than he currently is. And Tien remarks on this, removing Goku's Dragon Balls from his throat long enough to tell everyone how Goku's power feels like it's on a different dimension from his own, damn near giggling like a schoolgirl, explaining how he has never seen anything quite like it, and no level of calculation that the androids have could prepare them for something on the level of where Goku's at now. It is now during this time that Gohan and Yamcha arrive on the scene as well. Yamcha looks to the wasteland and sees Goku getting busy with the carnival bot and is like, man, maybe I was just dreaming about this power drain stuff because Goku's going to town right now without any types of issue. Gohan begins watching his father, but much in the same vein as Piccolo, starts to get a concerned look as the fight wears on. Piccolo peeps Gohan noticing something is off too and speaks up, telling Gohan that he also senses it, and right now Goku's energy and output is light work compared to what he's usually capable of. Tien and Yamcha can't even fathom this, looking at each other and then at Piccolo like, what do you mean light work? You see what this man is doing to these dudes right now? Gohan speaks up, agreeing with Piccolo and stating that maybe it's their energy absorbing ability that has his dad looking a little crazy right now compared to when he's at his best. Piccolo almost does a double take, asking Gohan to repeat that last part about energy theft because this is definitely news to him. Then this man Yamcha speaks up like, oh yeah, my bad, Unc, I forgot to tell you about that. When I was getting fisted back in the city, Bad Boy put his hands through my mouth and I felt like my soul was being sucked out. Not in the way I usually like it. Piccolo's like, spare me the details about you and Bulma's past, but it would have been pretty damn nice to know these fellas had that ability a good 10 minutes ago when Son first hopped in the ring. Moments later, Goku sends the android down to the ground like a meteor, but the robot must have also brushed up on his Roman Reigns data because he completely no-sells the hit, stands right back up staring at Goku like dude blew him a kiss and didn't just try to paralyze him from the waist down. Goku, visibly exhausted from the short battle that has already occurred, does something pretty uncharacteristic of himself. He prepares his finishing move and tries to finish the fight early. Goku lets out a loud cry as he propels a Kamehameha wave towards Android 19, who instead of crapping his trousers like the normal reaction to the beam, begins smiling as he places a single hand forward and gleefully giggles as he appears to absorb the attack and metabolize it into his rotund frame. It's as Yamcha and the rest of the fighters on the sidelines feared. The androids did indeed sap the ki from their opponents' bodies, so all of Goku's most powerful techniques are currently out of the question as the exhausted warrior struggles to remain flying, in disbelief that one of his greatest finishing move got eaten like Chi-Chi's dinner after a long day of training. It's at this point that Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha notice Goku's exhaustion as well, not understanding how he seems to be struggling so intensely after such a short interval of combat, which normally wouldn't even have been a warm-up for him. Krillin ponders and believes that he has just the thing to bring Goku back to fighting shape, throwing him a perk so that he can get out there for round 2, because that exhaustion must just be a fluke from the android's weird energy draining attacks. Goku readily takes the bean and prepares to continue the battle, but is caught off guard by 19's energy beams, and as the android dog walks him across the wasteland, it's clear that he's in no better shape than when he took the Senzu bean earlier. Then, in an act of desperation, Goku readies his hands for another Kamehameha when his friends down below have to remind him that it's no use using that attack and it'll only make his enemy stronger. While Goku's everyday IQ might be questionable, the dude's battle IQ is among the best. So seeing him fall into the enemy's trap like this twice in a row in such a short amount of time has his allies incredibly concerned. And it's while observing Goku's perplexing actions that Gohan peeps his father holding onto his heart and he has a eureka moment. Gohan thinks back to what Piccolo informed him of about his father's heart disease virus 3 years ago and deduces that this must be the cause of his father's current lackluster combat ability. The rest of the crew stare at Gohan in disbelief, asking him about the medicine from the future Goku received. Gohan informs him that his father was completely healthy during their 3 years of training, so he never took it. But now it looks like the time has come, and at the absolute worst possible moment on top of it. And unfortunately, Gohan was correct. As Goku succumbs to the space age he contracted from messing with thoughts on Yardrat, powers down to base form, and proceeds to get sucked up for potentially the last time of his life. Not even by his wife, but by a 600-pound robot clown wearing parachute pants. The Z crew, realizing that Goku can no longer fight back, attempt to jump in but are held off by the geriatric menace 20. Piccolo steps up to the plate first and throws a kick that misses the android and is subsequently shot down through the chest by 20's lasers. With their last possible hope now on life support, it appears that Trunks' vision is all but guaranteed. Until all of a sudden, Android 19 is knocked on the floor with a size 6.5 Saiyan boot print on his cheek. Only one man on the planet exists with that kind of power and a foot that small. That's right, viewers, the Prince of Pain is back, here to take on the androids himself in the unlikely role as Earth's last remaining savior. Prince's small feet assesses the battlefield and wastes no time walking over to a beaten Kakarot with the most condescending look on his face possible. He then chides Goku for knowingly entering his Super Saiyan form despite the impact it would have on his heart, and in one of the most crazy moments of disrespect between the two, kicks Goku like a load of laundry over to Piccolo, who grabs him by the scruff of his neck and lays him down like a dog that just got caught peeing in the living room. The Z homies then begin discussing how Goku needs to get home fast in order to take this medicine. Yamcha pipes up this time, saying the quiet part out loud and is like, yeah, since I'm honestly the weakest and the least useful one here, I'll be the one to babysit Goku at the house. A part of me knows Yamcha was waiting for the rest of the crew to speak up and be like, nah buddy, you good, you just as powerful as the rest of us for real. But when I tell y'all not a soul spoke up, I couldn't believe it, bro. That junk would have had my tummy hurting for the rest of my life. The only thing these fellas say as Yamcha makes his way home with Goku is to make sure that he takes the medicine too, because that junk might be infectious and they ain't trying to get sick either, and also for Goku to get better. Not a single thanks, Yamcha, or you be careful out there too, bro. I promise you, Seth and I need to low-key start a Yamcha gets hold counter for this arc, tallying up how many times Yamcha gets disrespected or peed on during this saga, because that ish might be higher than the Super Saiyan counter back in the Frieza arc.
Let's do this.
As Goku gets carted off over Yamcha's shoulder like a sack of potatoes, the prince begins gassing himself up, doing everything he can to suck up the main character limelight for as long as possible. Man starts looking over at the androids and hitting them with every one-liner he can possibly think of, telling these robots that they may have data, but the power of a Super Saiyan can't be reduced to mere numbers, and then hits them with a line I know he's been practicing for the last 3 years in Bulma's mirror at Capsule Corp, looking 19 dead in the face and asking him, is it possible for an android to feel fear? I promise y'all, for as battle-hardened of a warrior as Vegeta is, this man loves him some theatrics. That boy hams it up every second he can get, and this time is no exception. Making sure that he has every single eye on him while he key charges and reveals that he has also broken the Super Saiyan barrier. Exactly as Vegeta hoped, everyone on the battlefield staring at him in awe, having not expected him to reach his threshold of power as well. Krillin remarks that he thought a warrior had to be pure of heart in order to complete the transformation. This man Vegeta responds, yeah, my heart is pure evil. already know this man was dapping himself up mentally. If y'all thought Vegeta was glazing himself up like crazy in the Namek arc, y'all ain't seen nothing yet when it comes to the Android and Cell saga. This man will take any moment he can to meet Ride himself, to the point that he will literally endanger the lives of others to do so. In the manga, after Vegeta's little speech, we pretty much get right into the business of the 19 fight. But in the anime, we're treated to some Vegeta story time, where this man takes a good 10 to 15 minutes of exposition to tell everyone exactly how he made the transformation happen, recalling his saltiness towards Kakarot, his journey to an isolated planet for some solitary training, the uncontrollable sobbing and not being able to catch up to Goku, detail after pathetic detail. This man shares the whole thing, and the idea of him stopping mid-battle to gas himself up and forcing both sides to listen is the kind of comedy only this man Vegeta can produce. After Vegeta removes himself from his own crotch, the fight begins. 19 dashes in and booms Vegeta square in the face. Y'all remember how we were talking about theatrics? This dude Vegeta gets boomed in the face and then slowly relocates his head back into position until we see him smirk and tell the android, "I guess that's all I could hope to expect." This dude literally allowed himself to get socked full force just so he could show off the power of his transformation and let everyone know that he eats those for breakfast. But it ain't over, because now Mr. Super Saiyan begins his offensive and puts his size 6.5 Frieza Force 13 so far up Android 19's urethra, we can see his little hobbit boot sticking out the back. All everyone can do is observe in horror as Vegeta continues to make light work of the obese clown. By the look on their faces, it's difficult to discern if the worry on their face was from the brutality of the beating or the fact that they knew once Vegeta took this dub, they were never going to hear the end of it. The massacre continues, with Vegeta double axe handling the plus-size mime into the earth below, the force of the clown's cheeks creating a massive crater. Vegeta lowers himself into the hole to admire his work, but it appears he miscalculated, because the mime smiles, grabs both of his arms, and begins sucking them dry like that crazy ex you know you need to leave alone. Despite how grave the situation looks though, all Vegeta does is smile, holding on to the android's arms even more tightly, then using the clown's gut as leverage as he pushes his baby feet against his midsection and rips the dude's arms off. Following this grotesque display of brutality, Android 19 enters his self-preservation protocol and tries to run away, but Vegeta decides that he actually feels like finishing the job today, so he rises into the air, aims his palms forwards, and shoots a massive Big Bang attack ki blast directly into 19, blowing him apart instantly and ending the fight in fantastic fashion. And here, homies, is where we'll call it for the day. What did y'all think of the introduction of the androids 19 and 20? One of my favorite parts of this arc, as well as the Cell arc, is the subversion of expectations. Trunks came in and laid the groundwork for what's supposed to happen, but these next couple of sagas really take so many twists and turns that it really keeps the reader guessing. You're never able to fully be comfortable in your predictions about what comes next. Tune in next time as the battle against the androids continue. Will Vegeta's recent power boost be enough to put an end to the coming threat and change the future? Or could there be other horrors lying in wait for our heroes, just waiting to be discovered? Be easy, y'all, and I'll talk to you again in the next video.